Would you like to manifest the life of your dreams? If so, today's episode is for you. Best-selling author Mike Murphy joins us to share how you can harness the power of your emotions and intentions to do just that. Stay tuned. I am Gloria Grace Rand, founder of The Love Method and author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Live, Love, Engage: How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself. In this podcast, we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically so you can create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. Welcome to Live, Love, Engage. Namaste. Oh, I am Gloria Grace, the Light Messenger. And if you'd like to know how you can harness the power of your emotions and intentions to manifest your deepest desires, hopefully you're in the right place today. And I say that only because my guest who is supposed to be here is not here yet. And so I was just notifying his PR person, and the message I got back was, I don't know where he is. So I believe he is, his name is Mike Murphy, and I'm going to tell you that first. And he is a best-selling author, a course creator, passionate philanthropist. In fact, he has one of the things I wanted to talk to him about is that he has a retreat center in Colombia. And perhaps there is internet issues with Colombia today, and maybe that's why he's not here. So I am going to talk anyway about this subject, because even though he has his own perspective about it, and I'm truly hoping that he will show up here in the next couple of minutes and I will bring him on. But if not, I have my own perspective, because I also know about tuning into the vibrational field, if I can speak, and the power of intention and emotion, because I've done a lot of work in that area for quite a few years now. A lot of this stems from, you probably have heard about the law of attraction. And I know what Mike teaches goes beyond that. In fact, if you go to his website, that's what he would say, is that it goes beyond that. And I do know that in having worked with a variety of people over the years about intentions, that the emotion that you have that goes along with it really is the key. Because, and in fact, I've had guests on the program before to talk about the power of affirmations, for instance. But if you just are telling yourself, oh, I'm going to be rich, or I am rich, I am rich, I am rich, but you're not focusing in on the emotion of that, well, number one, if you're not rich at the moment, your brain is going to have a hard time accepting that you are that, because it sees the reality. So I had a guest on the show a year ago, whose name was Noah, and I'm forgetting his last name, but he talked about something called affirmations, where his philosophy is to ask questions instead of, like, how can I be rich? And then letting the brain figure it out, or look the episode up. Anyway, it's a good one. Oh, and here is our guest now. Yay! I am so glad. I'm so glad. Good. I only had to vamp for a few minutes. So without further ado, I'm going to bring him on, and I'm going to trust that his microphone is working and everything. And then I'm going to introduce him officially to you. So welcome, Mike Murphy, to Live, Love, Engage.
Thank you. I'm sorry I'm late. Are we live, or is this?
We are live. Okay, yes, we are.
Sorry, everyone, but I'm here now.
Hey, it's all good. So let me now officially introduce you. It's stuff happens, and it's all good. So as I mentioned, Mike is a best-selling author, a course creator, passionate philanthropist, and he was able to transform his life from being a broke, desperate, divorced, and alcoholic young man to becoming a wealthy businessman, loving husband, and father. And I already mentioned that you have a wonderful retreat center down in Colombia. Is that actually where you're coming to us from right now?
Exactly where I am right now.
Oh, okay, wonderful. Well, we're going to talk about that because there's so much to talk to you about. I'm so impressed with all that you've been able to do, and there's a couple different aspects I want to get into. But I'd like to start our these interviews with diving into our guest's background a little bit, and so talking about that you certainly were able to transform your life. So what kind of set the stage for us a little bit, and don't. Before you do that, I just want to let you know I'm going to actually have you be on the screen by yourself, but don't freak out. I'm still here. So I had one guest get
Thank you.
nervous about that. But yeah, if you could share with us a little bit about kind of your journey and how you did make this transformation.
Happy to. So I grew up in an alcoholic home. My dad just had two alcoholic parents, and he never really had a chance. And early in his life, he shut his heart. So when you have a parent, my mother is very loving, and my dad, you can access his heart. So that created like a bipolar thing in me. And the fact that he was a traveling salesman and traveling manager salesman. And so he would be home a week, gone a week. So literally perfect week, crazy week. And so that's kind of how I was wired. And we're all hardwired from our childhood programming deep into our subconscious. Until we figure that out and we can rewrite it, we're at the whim of the subconscious if someone else programmed us, like a computer. So long story short, I ran away at 14, became a habitual runaway, habitual juvenile delinquent, jail, car wrecks, all kinds of chaos. Found someone dumb enough to marry me at 21. On my 23rd birthday, my beautiful baby daughter was born, who's now 43 something. But I had an 8th grade education, no credit but bad credit, no future. I was drinking way too much, couldn't have a job. I'm living with her parents. She's the oldest of 6. Her 5 siblings, her parents, my 2-month-old baby, and her. And I look in the mirror one Sunday afternoon and I go, dude, you are a total loser. It didn't really bother me that much, but the fact that everybody in that house knew I was a total loser really caused a lot of shame and humiliation. I didn't even own my own car. I took my clothes, I threw it in one of their old beater cars, and I took off and partied for a week. And like was my typical pattern, when I wasn't happy, I ran away. And so a week later, I call her up, say, okay, I'm ready to come home now. And she says, unlike my parents, she said, no, thanks, but no thanks. So I sat on the steps of the church where we'd been married just 2 years earlier. And I said, God, if you exist, and I don't believe you do, you could truly manifest into a person, a human being. You could sit here on these steps with me, and I could touch you, I could feel you, I could talk to you. Then I could believe in you, and then I could change my life. God didn't show up, but by the grace of God, the next day I ended up in a 12-step meeting. And for the first time, I felt a little hope that maybe there was hope for me, because I was always different, always insane. And that started this process. But because of the divorce now and the pain of losing my family and my wife and this little baby that I walked out on abandoned, that we got divorced, but I couldn't stay off drugs and alcohol. I went from everyday user to a binge user, right? I would go to meetings and stay straight for 3 weeks, and then I'd go crazy for a week, and boom, boom, boom. And one of the guys in the program my age, and I was young to be in the program in those days. I was 24 at that point. And he said, man, I've never met anybody as messed up as you, but I know somebody that might be able to help you. And he introduced me to a man named Doug Fitzgerald. That I didn't know anything. He said to me, Mike, you come, and I kind of just go with the flow in my life. And he said, Mike, you come here 1 hour a week for 7 weeks, you'll get everything you want in your life. And it's $50 a week. And this 1982, and I didn't have 50 cents. So I actually wrote him a bad check to start this process. And the process is very simple. He said, first of all, you got to create your life into 6 areas to create balance. You have family, you have work, you have money, personal development, something fun, charitable, all that stuff. So we did that. So what we're going to do the first 6 weeks is you're going to come here every week, and we're going to write a powerful intention. as if it already exists, because there's no difference between reality and imagination. So what do you want most in your life, Mike? I want my wife back. So here we are. I've been divorced now at that point 2 years. I have my child one night a week. I'm miserable. And he has me write this. He helps me write this intention. Lisa and I are so happily married. Our daughter, Michelle, thrives in this. So I'm writing this, right? I know this woman hates me. I know it's all bullshit. While I'm writing I get a little flicker of hope or something. Something shifts, right? So I go, okay, I'm going to trust this process. That's week one. What do you want next, Mike? I want to make 10 grand a month. What do you want next? I want to own my own business. What do you want next? I want to own my own house. What do you want next? I want to run a marathon. Number 6, Mike, it has to be a contribution. So what do you want to do with your life to give to others? I said, my dad had a screwed up childhood. I had a screwed up childhood. We'll create a home for boys. So the magic is week 7. And what's magical about this is I'm a big Dr. Joe Dispenza fan now. And I've been studying his work, going to his things. And the core of what this man was teaching me in 1982 is exactly what what Dr. Joe teaches at the very core of his message. I didn't know it then. I just found out in 2018. But Doug was studying Silva mind control. I know,
oh my gosh.
Okay. But here's the magic of week 7. I show up. I got my 6 intentions, 1 or 2 paragraphs, handwritten with a pencil and white paper. And he brings out a boom box. And he puts in theta brainwave music. And then he brings out a tape recorder and he hands me a microphone and he hands me 2 pages of a relaxation script. He says, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play the music and you're going to record in your own voice the relaxation script that I'm giving you, which just putting me in self-hypnotic trance, putting me in theta brainwave. That's where he was taking me. And then read your 6 intentions. I do it. Out pops the cassette. He gives me the cassette. He says, listen every morning, right when you wake up, because we're coming from delta into theta, and every night before you go to sleep, because we're going from beta to alpha to theta. And just do that. So I do it. Within 4 months, I own my own restaurant. 2 years after this, the woman that hates my guts calls me up, asks me on a date to escort her to a Christmas party. We get remarried and have 3 more beautiful kids. I become very, very wealthy, many, many homes. I've owned my own business almost ever since the restaurant. So this is how everything works in the world, okay? I'm on this beautiful farm here in Colombia. If I go out there and I plant some seeds, in a few weeks, I'm going to have some crops, okay? All he's teaching me and what Dr. Joe Dispenza teaches is this intention is a thought, but it's energy. It's an electrical energy thing. So 2 things are happening simultaneously. One, as I go into this self-hypnotic trance, I'm able to get through the conscious mind and into the subconscious mind, which is the superpower, and we're all connected through that energy, and reprogram that. So I don't want to go into the subconscious right now, and then at the same time, this thought, this energy, this frequency, everything is energy vibrating a certain frequency, goes into the field of infinite possibilities where it meets like-minded thoughts and desires and intentions. And then we live in this electromagnetism here, right? The unseen world is where the real power is. Everything is created in the unseen world, what he calls the field of infinite possibilities, what the Bible called ether, what Nikola Tesla called plasma, what the Chinese call chi, what the Indians call prana. This is alive right here. This is energy, atoms. How powerful are atoms? And so then I put this into the field, but this heart, the more love, okay, well, how much goodness is attached to a couple coming back together to raise their daughter? So that has to come back if there's a lot of love and gratitude. So this is the electrical thought energy going into the field. The magnet is the heart, and this is how everything works. And I challenge your listeners to find something in their physical world that didn't first start as a thought and desire. So that's my power of the law. And by the way, the Bible says that God spoke this universe into existence. He said, let there be light. And that sound energy is what I'm using to manifest what I want. Today, 40 years something later, I just speak into existence what I want, okay? Now, here's the other thing. that I teach people is you want to be very, very specific with these intentions. So let's say you're trying to manifest a love. Yeah, I want a guy with black hair, and I want 6 feet tall, and I want this kind of character and this kind of income and all this. Be specific as you want. I'd look for character traits, and and someone that could love you the best, but get it precisely as you want, but then let go of the final product and outcome, because you're co-creating with the creator of all. And so when you realize that the guy might show up blonde hair, he might be 5 feet tall, but it might be the perfect fit for you. So get the intention of what you clearly want, and then be no attachment to the outcome, and then be flexible, because God will give you something bigger and greater. But the other thing is, most people stop 3 feet away from the goal, because we live in a microwave society. We want everything now, okay? It's gotten even worse from when I was growing up. You go to the freezer, you get the frozen food, you stick it in the microwave, and there's your dinner without going and cooking, preparing for 2 hours. But now it's worse, I noticed in the pandemic. Now I don't even have to get off my couch. I pull out my phone, DoorDash is there in 30 minutes, whatever I want. I mean, and because the world is becoming so easy, we're becoming so soft that we can't handle any stress or anything. We're becoming very weak and lazy. And we better get strong in a hurry, because something is coming right around the corner. And so the reason we have this healing center here is, I believe it's time for, if you're awake enough and you have the intention and desire to serve, and especially take care of your family, it's time to get physically strong, mentally strong, emotionally strong, spiritually strong for whatever's coming. I think 2024 is going to be a changing year with a lot of stuff happening, and I hope everybody can get ready for it. Long story, sorry.
Well, no, it's all good, and I'm like with you on so many things there. We actually share a lot of commonalities, and that I also have grew up with an alcoholic father, so I resonate with that. My mother actually took the Silva Mind Control course when I was like, I don't know, 10 years old or something, but I took it with her, but it didn't really resonate with me at the time. And it's funny that it's like, I keep hearing it again, come up over like the last couple of months now. So maybe it's time for me to revisit it, and it could be the universe is calling me to take another look at it as well. So many things you said, and I'm so glad that you did touch on the heart, because I was going to say, okay, well, where does the emotion fit into that? So I'm glad that you mentioned that. I'm going to play a little devil's advocate here, and because I'm sure, so many people, I think they've heard this before. They've heard this type of thing before, especially if they've followed Joe Dispenza. And I know even on your website, you kind of talk a little bit about like the law of attraction. So how could someone that wants to do this get it wrong?
Well, first of all, one of my favorite books I read many, many years ago is called Think and Grow Rich. But I hate the title, because you can't just think and grow. You got to have a plan. You got to take action. You got to get off the couch. And so I was just sitting here with a young woman here at the retreat center talking about this very subject. And this is where we have to shut this off. And I say, in the head, you're dead. And we need to move back into here. Why did we leave here to begin with? Because it hurts to live here. Okay. We get betrayed. We get lied to. Someone's mean to us, and our parents let us down. They make a promise, they don't fulfill it as kids. And then we get as adolescents, and we have all that stuff. And so we start to hurt. And for my father, he shut his heart about 10 or 11 years old. And so you live here in the story, in the ego, which is the acronym is edging God out. And so from here, I get lost. From here, I can lie, I can cheat, I can steal, I can do anything from here, because these are just thoughts. And if they're crazy, if I act on my crazy thoughts, I'm going to have a bad result. From here, I can't do any of that stuff, because this is who I really am. I'm not these 50 trillion cells working together to create this body. It's an animal body. I'm not an animal. Okay. These cells are creating this animal body. My spirit is enveloped in this animal body. So I'm living in an animal body, but the real me is the spirit. But I start thinking I'm the animal body. And when I start believing that, and then I start believing the story and the thoughts, then where am I? I'm stuck. I don't know where I am. But when I realize I'm not on thoughts, I'm not my body, then who am I? I'm pure consciousness. I'm eternal love connected to the creator of all. And so when you realize that this thing that you can't even identify, the real me, not Mike Murphy, that's just a name they gave me. I was something before that, and I'll be something after I'm Mike Murphy, and I'm out of this body. And when that person takes control, or that entity, I don't even know what to call it, soul, we'll call soul for the sake of this conversation. When I get reignited with my soul, which came here with, I was fully aware of it when I was born and I came into this physical world. And for whatever reason, through trauma, through bad parenting, through trauma, whatever, we leave it, we disconnect, and then we get lost. And there's a lot of reasons, which we're not going to go into right now. But when I reacquaint with this, then I can use this supercomputer to manifest what it is I truly want. But if I'm living here, especially in today's world, I mean, if I don't know who I am, I think I'm my thoughts, I think I'm my body, I think I'm going to die when I turn 70 or 80 or whatever. And this is a scary place. But when you realize that you are eternal, when you realize that this is just a little game or a little dream or a little, and don't get me wrong, I still have struggles. Life is still difficult. I can still get angry. Okay. I'm still a flawed animal. Okay. Trying to evolve into all spirit, which we eventually will. But life is so much easier. So when it comes to creating and manifesting, I see the world, the biggest problem in the world today is everybody thinks they're a victim, or the government's trying to make them a victim, or society's trying to make them a victim. And we're either all victims or none of us are victims. So I choose to view myself as a powerful creator. Do I play victim sometimes? Yes. Okay. Do I like playing victim sometimes? Hell yes. Is there not anything better than self-righteous anger? No. But the truth is, if I stay in my spirit and I create, and I realize I came here to create something from spirit, then all that stuff dissipates and I'm able to manifest what I truly want and desire. So we have to realize we're playing in two worlds.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And it's funny, I was actually, I've been reading some affirmations lately that are, I am not my thoughts. I am not my emotions. You know, I am a soul. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, so we're in the middle of a retreat right now. And I don't know, a couple of days ago, we did some Byron Katie work. I don't know if you or your audience are familiar with her, but amazing breakthroughs in just questioning, this young girl questioning her thoughts about something that happened in her childhood with one of her parents. And when you do the work of Byron Katie, oh my gosh, you just shatter this stuff. And to watch this person in real time have this major breakthrough. And we've done many other things since that night. It was just 2 nights ago. I mean, I feel like this retreat's been going on for 2 years. I think we're in day 4 or 5, but just these beautiful breakthroughs. People are suffering and they don't know how to deal with it right now because it's almost overwhelming. And the collective consciousness that we're connected to, there's only one source of energy and we're all connected, right? So I can kind of control my own individual consciousness to a certain degree, but I feel this collective consciousness really heavy on my heart right now. And most people don't want to deal with that. And I understand that it's a heavy burden. So I don't expect that. But we need to get into the heart and realize who we are and realize that we're a creator and we're not a victim. Now, the hard part with that, because I have people here, the stories going on here, we have cancer, diabetes, so much rape, so much abortion, so much trauma that I had to switch gears of this whole retreat. This retreat is supposed to be a physical detox, you know, with good nutrition and some education and some meditation and some ceremonies. But early on, we share early on, we go deep, and right away I say, okay, we're switching gears. We have to deal with this emotional drama. So we threw this retreat all upside down. So it's a bit chaotic for me right now. But for my passion is to find we all have a different path. We all have different pains. We all have different trauma. and experience, but it's all the same feeling. Okay, we've all had a different trauma to get to that, but the feeling's the same, and the healing from the feeling is the same. And so that's my passion, is to someone come up to Mountains of Hope, show Mountains of Hope with this deep trauma and pain that's maybe they're not even aware of all of it, how deep it goes, and to come here and have it shattered and dissipated and spread to the four directions, and to leave here a completely different personality so that they can go home and create a completely different personal reality, one that they can create that's based on love and family and service and community and unity and all that stuff. So that's what we're doing here.
I love it. I love it. Now, I want to shift gears slightly, but it was one other thing that I noticed that you have, that you're passionate about, and that actually, I guess, feeds into the retreat center, and it's something else that we have in common, that we both had someone, we lost someone to cancer. And so I noticed that you started a foundation. Can you talk a little bit about that, and what it is, and why you started it, and what the goal is for it?
Yeah, so my wife, Margot, she wasn't even my wife at the time. She was my girlfriend, and she was only 29, and she was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. And so we went on this 9-year journey together. It was very difficult. And we eventually got married in the middle of that 10 years we spent together. And then we tried to have children, and then it became stage 4. And on December 1st, 2010, yeah, the doctor said to her, Margot, unfortunately, cancer spread to the lining of your brain. If you do nothing, you have 6 weeks to live. And if you treat it, you have 6 months to live. And so she died almost 6 months to the day after that. And every day she went through living hell trying to stay alive another day, from full brain radiation therapy to draining the lungs to 2 brain surgeries to unbelievable suffering and torture, physical, okay? Because she loved life so much. She loved life a lot more than I do, the physical part of it. But every night, she would prepare, and I would be with her, a witness, and try to assist. She would prepare to take that last breath. So she's fighting like hell all day long, going through all this pain and suffering to live another day. And each night she's preparing to take that last breath, which is probably right around the corner. And so to be able to witness that was so profound. But when I lost this love of my life, that actually I have 3 loves of my life, that was the second. For the first time in my life, I was so devastated. I had no resistance, and God could finally come in, fillet open my heart, take out all the BS, arrogance, greed stuff, and replace it with love. And immediately after that, I met a 38-year-old woman, African-American, no husband, not good insurance, no resources, 3 children, stage 4 breast cancer. And someone asked me to help her find an oncologist. And so I went through all this process with her, and that led to starting this nonprofit foundation, the Love for Margot Foundation. And for 4 years, I would give financial grants to women in Oakland, in Palm Springs, California, La Quinta. I would give them financial grants, $1,000 a month for 5 months. The theory being, or the hope being, that they were broke to begin with. Now they can't work. Now they have to, their expenses have gone up. And so I would support them financially, help them get through this. And also I would support them emotionally, because they had to meet with me each month, because I wanted to pour my heart and soul into them. I wanted to know what they were going through. So I learned so much about this illness, and the treatment that was available to them was not very good or effective, because the results were usually very poor, like death. So after 4 years of this, I go, man, I'm throwing all my money away. This is not a good plan. It's not sustainable. And so I go, okay, what can I do now? So I start buying water purifiers, juicing machines, teaching them about strengthening their immune system while the doctor's destroying their immune system. And after a year of that, they go, they think I'm their doctor, right? And I'm a car salesman, and I can't be, doing all this. And so that's why I came to Colombia. That's why I built this place. So we're building a healing center here where we teach people how to heal themselves, which I believe is possible through many, many various forms, through meditation, through nutrition, through detoxing, through prayer and Everything. We throw everything kitchen sink here, ceremonies, getting grounded, where we charge wealthy people and we give scholarships to the women that I was serving. So that's how this all happened.
Mm. Well, I love that, and because it is, well, number one, I can resonate with the pain of losing someone, and also the watching modern medicine killing the cells, because they kill the cancer cells, but they also wind up killing all your good cells as well. And that's why my sister, when she was going through cancer, she finally came to a point where she said, the tumor wasn't being reduced enough. And it's like, I need quality of life. I can't keep, being on chemo and having my white blood cells being just, decimated and not being able to respond. So, and yet at the same time, I was powerless to be able to really help her as well. So I love that you're focusing now, that you, in learning, that going through and helping women, that you really found a more holistic way to be able to address this as well. Because I really do feel there was nobody in my family who even had a history of cancer before. And so I do believe it was more brought on by mental state. And
Let me share this with you, Gloria. My late wife, Margot, was the most amazing, incredible person I've ever met. So, but she had told me and we were very, very connected. Plato said that we're one soul cut in half, and we spend many lifetimes looking for the other half. He called that twin flame. So I feel as if she was my twin flame because we were so identical in the good ways and the bad ways. But what were we just talking about? Because I just lost my train of thought. Forgive me.
That's okay. Well, shoot, now I'm not even sure. Talking about how.
The treatment, the chemo and all that, right?
Treatment. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So anyways, long story short is, she was only 29. We didn't know. So we thought we were blessed to be working with the head of oncology at Stanford. We really did. And so we were once you get on that path, it's hard to get off. It's very confusing. I hate these conversations when people come to me because it's just a very difficult conversation to have. Because they're scared. I just lost a very dear friend that trusted that system instead of coming and detoxing himself. And I really believe that most of these illnesses are environmental. I know what we're talking about.
That's right.
Emotional aspects. So I know this woman so well. Now she's passed over. And now I want to write a book, and in doing so, I find all her journals from age 12 to age 38. And I read them. And I promise you that her breast cancer was an emotional. And Louise Hay wrote a book, You Can Heal Yourself, that almost every illness is directly related to some emotional wound. And I believe me, knowing her so well, reading her journals, the breast cancer was an emotional wound in her case. For some people, toxicity will play a role, but I think most of us, we get so emotionally wounded and we shut down, the immune system shuts down. So then these cancers or whatever are able to manifest themselves in our physical body, but they start as an emotional wound, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're winding down, and I know we could talk for a very long time with a lot of stuff, but one of the questions I wanted to ask you is one that I enjoy asking my guests because I get a variety of answers. So what are you curious about right now?
I'm super curious about this one. What's 2024 going to be like in the United States of America, especially as we approach this election? What is going on in the United States of America? What is going on financially in the stock markets and all the debt and all the different wars? So I'm very, very curious to see how 2024 plays out geopolitically in America, financially in America. And by the way, whatever happens in America has a result in every other country. So I think I'm very curious, very, very curious to see how 2024 plays out in all aspects and see, they're talking about a great reset, the Klaus Schwabs of the world and the World Economic transforming all these people. They want a great reset, whatever that means to them. But over here, people are talking about a great awakening. And that's what I want to be a part of. You know, that party's over. You can't fight those people. They got all the money, all the power. Okay, let them do their little reset, whatever that looks like. And I don't think it's good for you and me, frankly, what they have in mind. Okay, but you know, I that used to anger me. I used to try to push back against that. Don't even waste your time. Whatever that is, they already own it and got it and want it. Let's talk about the Great Awakening. That's what I'm talking about. And that's what I believe, that those of us that came here, I really believe now I came here for this purpose. And the kids coming now are even more awake and conscious and powerful. I believe that in my age, my generation, and some people call us indigos, is our job was to set the stage, to be rebellious enough and courageous enough to go into the spiritual world and go into the physical healing world, like breath work and ice baths and meditation, and going that route and grounding to Mother Earth and sun gazing and getting that energy, understanding the electromagnetic world, understanding the unseen world. And for us, I think, is to help the Great Awakening. And my hope and intention is that we can usher heaven back on the earth, and whatever's going on over here, let it just go. And let's quit being a part of it, and let's create this new awakening over here based on connection and love and service and one humanity. Okay, they can have their new world order. Okay, let's have our new humanity of one heart and one mind working together to serve.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I mean, I remember when the pandemic hit, that I felt that it was a great awakening. That was like the start of it. So, I mean, and I was saying that, and I don't know if anybody else, but of course I've heard it, you know, from lots of other people since then, but yeah. So cool. Yeah. We're really on the same wavelength. I love it. Is there anything else that I should have asked you that I didn't? Any other last point you'd like to make before we wrap up today?
The only thing I would say that I think is really important is we were given these two eyes, and we're always looking out, searching. We're looking for God. We're looking for our loved one. We're looking for money. We're looking for all this stuff, right? I said, close your eyes and go within and find that connection to your soul and to your creator. There's all the answers you will ever need. King Solomon said, there's nothing new under the sun. When you get here, and it's hard. Listen, this is hard. Life is difficult. But when you can get here and surrender, you know, the hardest thing that you would think surrender is the easiest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do. But when you surrender, you break the ego. Now you're in your heart, and let go, surrender, and trust, and get in conscious contact with that higher power, and ask every day for wisdom on what you're supposed to be doing.
Yes, definitely. Oh, this has been so wonderful. And I know you have a ton of resources available. You know, as I mentioned, you've written books, you've got courses. I know you've got a podcast as well. So if someone listening to us today would like to know more about you, where can people do that?
Yeah. So as far as the creation frequencies was my major tool for manifestation, transforming, go to thecreationfrequency.com, or you can go to MikeMurphyUnfiltered.com. All that material is there for free. Okay. I think the book's $10, but I mean, you can get this. I mean, this is not complicated, right? We have the app for free. You can download the app, the relaxation script. The script is on my website. It's also within the app. You record that. The app's free. I have a YouTube channel, Mike Murphy Unfiltered. I talk some about this. But really, the real power, I think, now is Mountains of Hope. So if you know someone or yourself, and if you're suffering from trauma, especially emotional trauma, mental trauma, or physical disease, you need to detox, check out mountainsofhope.com. What we are building and creating here, I'm right in the middle of this right now. I mean, it's raw. It's so raw right now, but it's so empowering to watch people heal and transform. So at Mountains of Hope, that's what we do. So that's really my passion right now, is to get this going and just keep spreading this. And the creation frequency is a great tool to manifest whatever you need to get yourself to mountains of hope.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for taking some time out of the retreat today to spend with us. And I'm so glad that you were able to make it, because you are an amazing man and doing some amazing work in the world. And we need more folks like you. And I think we do have more coming up. You know, there, as you said, the younger generations are definitely much more awake than even some of us. So I'm so glad for that. So yeah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Gloria. My pleasure.
And I want to thank all of you as well for joining us, and for just being the amazing people that you are, who listen to the podcast, or maybe you're watching on social media right now. And I am so grateful for all of you. I encourage you to make sure that if you're not subscribed on your favorite podcast platform, that you are. And stay tuned, because next week I'm going to be doing something special on Valentine's Day, February 14th. We're going to be having, it is World Sound Healing Day. And so I'm going to be doing a special episode about that, where I'm going to be sharing some light language, which is the way that I connect with Source and am able to share healing of my own. So I hope you will join us for that. And until next time, as always, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.